in the north about two weeks ago. If you see the debaking, I have to call Dr. Wajeti, that what is happening in the north. They were telling us that the birds are not consuming. How do you expect a beak like this to consume? Not at all. And at the end of the day, the birds are not consuming, and the birds are producing maybe 50%, and the farmer has lost a lot of money. For him not to lose totally, he can just, anybody can.
I am Pan. I am Pan. And can you spell this word with me? V-A-L-U-E. V-A-L-U-E. Money is a store of value. Every one of us responds to the value that we see in the products. Whenever you are selling eggs at 800, for example, there's somebody that is selling at 600. When you are having a lot of demand, that person is still struggling to sell his or her eggs. Whenever you are selling the oats at a particular price, somebody is selling below your price and is struggling to sell. Meanwhile, you are selling at a higher price. Let us begin to think about the value that we can add. A lot of the times we engage ourselves in apologies, needless conversations about price. We think that price is generic, price is the same. An egg is not an egg. Let whoever is pricing your egg at a particular price know that an egg is not an egg. Like I said, let us find solutions within this room. See, we are responding to value. Somebody calls the chips for you at 420. There is an option. I don't want to buy. But why do you buy? Because there is a value. Even though you might feel that it's overpriced, it's this and that. Like my Oga said, we will struggle, we will do this. It's the same thing. Every product, we were buying maize. I mentioned it in the opening remarks. We are buying maize at 80-something naira. We are buying at 115 naira now, 120 naira. Soya, when I joined the industry, soya was less than 10 naira. Nobody was even using soya. But right now, they will sell soya to us at a particular price. If you want to knock our heads against the wall on prices, I'm a regional, I'm about soya, I'm about lagadoja, I'm about premix, I'm about elija, and all of that. But we'll be wasting a lot of time. We'll be wasting a lot of time doing that. Let us begin to think, this that is in my hand, how do I add value to it? What is the value I am getting from what I am getting? A lot of us are using cheap feed, as it were, thinking that it's cheap, but we are paying through our noses because we are using those cheap feed. Because we are looking at it and say, how can they sell this feed at 2,000? They're selling this one at 1,500. That person is ripping me off. But you find out at the end of the day, that is why you are not able to keep your eggs for 1 week. Value. So if we don't take anything away from here today, I want us to take it home. I am Pan. I have as much stake in this business. Okay. My guy is saying we should take another round of questions more, but I am looking at the time and I see it's already 10 minutes past 5. So, and you know the way in this our dispensation now, let us take a voice vote and see how many of us want this meeting to end in the next 10 minutes. Can I see your hands up? 10 minutes. How many of us want it to end in another 45 minutes? Can I see your hand up? So let's begin to time. This is 12 minutes past 5. We'll end latest by 5:30. Is that okay? 5:30. So wherever we get to, if your question is not your concern is not addressed, we are going to close by 5:30. That is what all of us want, right? Thank you very much. So I said, think value. Tell yourself I am Pan. If not, we are not going to be able to make much progress. Dr. Wageti, you have 3 minutes maximum. 3 minutes, I am checking. 3 minutes maximum.
Great farmer. Great farmer. Please, I want us to understand that the business we are doing is biological industry. Hello? is a biological industry. It's a living industry. Okay.
I have to do this. Dr. Odusi, can you please come? Sorry. Doctor, you have one.
Okay, thank you very much. With the effort that we made with the Ogun State government, and well, thank God for yesterday that we have the caliber of people that attended the show. And one of the people that has signified that she will be around even yesterday, but because of assignment that took her to Abuja and she had to fly in today, is a consultant to Ogun State government on agriculture. She's Dr. Mrs. Angel Adelaja Kuye. She will just greet us. Please just greet us.
Thank you so much. I feel at home because I'm also a poultry farmer. So in all the things that you're saying, I understand your needs, your pain points, and I also understand that the industry will only be driven forward by the market and by the private sector. And so government needs to be able to make the private sector have an enabling environment to do what it needs to do. Of course, I'm sure yesterday, Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor, discussed some of the things that His Excellency has for farmers in Ogun State. But just as a poultry farmer as well as on one foot and representing government on another foot, there are just a few things I would like to say, which is that some of the things that were touched on today, quite important. For Ogun State, we want to focus on data because the only way that we can market the state and market the farmers in the state, the processors in the state, is through accurate data. Till now, nobody can actually say, and it's unfortunate, the number of farmers that we have in the state to a T. It doesn't make sense. Because when an investor wants to come into the state and find out where we've gotten a lot of people who say they want to set up egg powder facilities. But when they look at the cost of production for eggs, and they look at the cost of importing egg powder from other countries, it's easier for a confectionery company to import that egg powder than it is to be able to pay a company that produces that egg powder in Ogun State. We need to change that. So what we want to do is we want to start from the beginning, but we want to do it in tandem. So yes, we need to make sure that in our own capacity as producers, there's efficiency. So efficiency in the cost of feeds, which means we have to go backwards to the primary producers. So not just soybean and maize, which we're trying to work on through the Anchor Borrowers program. So we ask for those who are in the feed industry to partner with us for the Anchor Borrowers program to ensure that you have raw materials for feed production. But research and development, we want to make sure that in the state our academic institutions, our private sector, and those who do R&D in the private sector as well. Sometimes we tend to leave research and development institutions, but we don't realize that there's actually money to be made by ensuring that R&D is done with private sector partners as well. What are alternative protein sources? Whether it's maggot farming or whether it's through seaweed, including seaweed or other things that we can utilize to help make the production of our feeds more efficient, right? How do we partner to make sure that those things are being done? Ogun State wants to help in championing those activities. In addition to that, regulation. You cannot do anything without policy. And one thing, if government cannot give you anything, they can give you policy. So it is the role as private sector, from my hat as a poultry farmer, to say we need to drive policy. We need to leverage on the fact that we have people who have us in mind now to be able to drive policies that make it efficient for us to operate. So whether it's in zoning, where you're setting up your poultry facilities in areas that were not urbanized before, and now when they now bring in urbanization, it means that people are now complaining about you, who had been the original person to come to that area. They're now saying, you're disturbing me with your waste products. We need to be able to look at how we can develop zoning so that poultry activities in the livestock space in general can be protected in certain areas. I think we also need to start looking at the productivity. Yes, there's an importance of value, but there's also value for money. So there are ways that we can justify spending this amount on a product, but at the end of the day, the bottom line is what matters. And at the end of the day, your business is driven by how much, not just revenue, but how much profits you can make. So we understand that. So we want to make sure that we can do the things that need to be done to make it efficient? How do we ensure that your logistics are done efficiently? What roads can we do? So if we aggregate ourselves and I say ourselves, but please understand that I'm talking with both hats. If we're able to aggregate ourselves and say, this is our corridor, this is the place where we're all working from, where the feed millers are, where the poultry farmers are, and we need roads to that space. It's easier for us to provide roads to clusters than for us to provide a road here, a road here, a road there, because at the end of the day, we're still looking at making sure that we get the most for our money, meaning that 20 roads may not be what we can do, but if we can do one major road where it helps, let's say, 50% or 60% of those in the sector, then it makes sense. So let's see how we can coordinate ourselves. And when we can coordinate ourselves, then we're able to then drive the policy. Because the truth of the matter is that we have the funds. We have the funds to make an impact. If we didn't have the funds to make an impact, then nobody would be looking, well, for example, for Ogun State. I don't know about the other poultry farmers, but for Ogun State farmers, we're very well known for poultry. So, and I think Oyo State also, but Ogun State. So it's very, very exactly. So one thing that I just urge is let us work together, let us organize. The government is here to help to make sure that in this next 4 years, and hopefully in the next 8 years, we're able to see poultry. Yeah, that's my political hat. We're able to see poultry sector driven in Ogun State and in Nigeria as a whole. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Dr. Wagete, can you please come?
Thank you. Like I was saying before, we farmers have to understand that, sir. Oh, no. We have to understand that the business we are doing is a biological industry. It's a living industry. But most farmers like selling cement or selling plank. I've agreed with some of my participants. I think the only solution is regulation. With regulation, without regulation, nothing will happen. Nothing. Okay, sorry. The only way out is for us to come for meeting and come together. That's the only way out.
See, when people tell me there is only one way out, I say no, there is no one way out. There are many ways out. There might be the best way out, but there are many ways out. See, I don't want us to see, because most of the time we are too focused on what the challenges are. So because of that, it beclouds the way that we can see things from different perspectives. There are a lot of perspectives to issues. I don't want to begin to join issues and all of that. But I believe that, see, by the time we say the solution is regulation, for example, what happens to other areas? No, doctor, please don't come. Please don't come. So we'll take 2 more questions. But like I said, what I'm doing, I'm not challenging what he's saying. Because most of the time it appears as if there is a challenge. I'm not challenging what he's saying. I'm only saying we should think very broadly in everything that we proffer. Thank you. 2 questions only. Okay, I'll take it.
Great farmers. My name is Arule Bahasheson. That's from Complete Nutrients International Limited. My question is more or less like a question, and also with what is happening in most of our farms that has to do with additives generally. Sometimes, most of the vet doctors that we are having, maybe that are consulting for farms, do cause problems in farm at times. Because once there is a problem in any farm, the first vet doctor will tell you, check your additive. This has caused a lot of problems to farmers. We've seen situations in which they've accused additives, and by the time they go for test, it wasn't additives at all. And it has caused a lot of problems. Therefore, I think there are supposed to be a kind of regulation between the vet doctors, because vet doctors are not nutritionists. And when they come to farm, they just give a kind of cancer to farmers, and there are problems with farm. And farmer begins to do a lot of tests. Sometimes you put this additive aside and you buy another one. After that, you later realize that it is not that additive, it's another problem in the farm. Therefore, I think all these things have to be looked into so that there will not be question between the producers of additives, the farmer, and the farmer also will not be spending extra costs for what is not even, what is not so. I think there's a need for them to work on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Mukhtar Umar from Sokoto State. I initially thought it is not we farmers that will start complaining. I thought it should be the end customer that will consume our product that will complain. That will complain. Because what I believe is that it is our management. When we were complaining, when the CHI person was talking, he was making reference to the price when the chicks was around 400. I want to emphasize that the problem is that we should look into the possibility of reducing the cost of producing our products. I think that is the way out. When the chicks were sold at the rate of 450, that is the best time I made a profit. That's the best time I made a profit. So I think this is the problem. The problem is coming from our management. That's number one. Number two, and the final one is about the pan. When we are making reference to the pan, I think particularly in the north, the pan is not functioning. I don't know what is happening. The chairman should do something about it, because in Sokoto in particular, the people that are leading the pan, most of them are not even poultry farmers. We have those problems, and anything that has to do with poultry farmers, when it comes, one pan is involved, they will just try to take advantage of farmers and benefit from the program. Thank you very much.
A lady.
Great farmers. I'm Elizabeth by name. I want to say some observation that I was able to experience. I was once a sales officer in one of these big farms. So I want to say about pricing. There was a particular time we agreed on selling it on so amount. Within just few hours, I just received a call through the intercom that the price now is so amount. So that I should increase the price. So no problem. But now I was now saying, okay, what was the reason? Later I got to know that the thing behind the shoot up of the increase in the price was that they got from two farms that they are also selling their DOC at so price. So they too, they increase their price to that amount. Same on other products. Because they produce their feeds too. I won't mention the name of the farm. They produce their feed. They have premix. They sell premix. They sell vaccines. They sell all these vitamins and everything. And they sell everything. Yes, they'll just sit down and call a particular company. How much is the price for so this? And they'll now increase it for no reason. Not because marriage vaccine was increased. No, the same price of marriage vaccine is still the same price. Yes, because so farm is selling us, they'll just increase it. I don't know if you can look into it.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Lastly, it is the PAN vice chairman and zonal chairman that will round up this meeting. But I will say it again, and again, and again. The DOC broiler, as of Monday, was selling for 170, 180. Most of the time, we focus on when it is 400, as if that is the price that is prevailing all year round. 2016, go to Oluyole in Ibadan. You will see many archeries that folded up in 2016, 2017. If they were making, I'm not speaking for any archery, if they were making supernormal profits, why did they close down? Some of them are not open till today. They are not open till today. And if you see, the investment on an archery will not be less than 60 to 100 million. And those people now are out of business. The same way, somebody comes today and say, why are you selling the same thing? Somebody comes and say, why are you selling eggs now at 870 naira? And I was telling some people that I might get 1,000 naira. And the farmer, the person that is going to buy from you, because right now it is the farmer that is talking about the archery. The person that is buying eggs from you will tell you, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, I was buying this egg for 600 naira. What has happened? Is it the price of vaccine that increased? Is it the price of water that increased? Why are you increasing the price of eggs? When the farmers were burying eggs, they were not able to sell. People are owing them a lot of money. Now they are able to sell at 870. I expect the same thing from our consumers to come and meet us now and say we must lower our price to 600. How many of us are ready to lower our price to 600 or 500? Is it that have your cost of vaccine increased? Have your cost of vaccine increased? Have the cost of water increased? See, I wanted to gloss, I wanted to paper over some of these things, but I felt I would be doing injustice. That's why I just mentioned that we should talk about value, because I wanted to gloss over. I didn't want to go into the details of it. We buried more than 35,000 trays of eggs in farm support. More than 35,000 trays of eggs. And yet, if somebody comes today now and say, why am I selling eggs at 870? I will ask the person, go and calculate how much is the price of 35,000. When we even reduce the price to as low as 600, after reducing to about 600, 500 and something, we still destroyed more than 35,000 trays of eggs. So I expect the same thing now from the egg person. The same way you're asking the hatcheries why they should be increasing their prices anyhow. The farmers, the consumers that are buying eggs from you should come and ask you, why are you increasing your price of egg anyhow? Have you increased the price of Marex vaccines? Or is it the price of Gogoro vaccines that has come up? Let us begin. See, as long as we do this blame game, the enemy next door, we are going nowhere. That is the truth. The solution is let us add value to whatever is in our hands. If we all agree and say, okay, broilers, 200 naira all year round. I know what he's talking about. They come and say, okay, we want to buy broilers all year round, 200 naira. When it falls to 150 naira, they will say, we don't have space in our farm to put the broilers now. That's what they will tell you. We don't have space to put broilers now. They will wait until the price comes to the 200 naira that you have agreed before they are buying broilers from you again. So when it now goes to 230, I say, you come and pay 230. Say, why are you selling to me at 230 now? Shebi, we agreed on 200 naira. See, let us work together. Let us work. See, it has happened. You can say this, but I can tell you, they were in my office. Some people came to my office. We sat down. Most of the time, this discussion happens when the price of broiler is at 300. It doesn't happen when the price of broiler is at 120. Nobody is coming to discuss price of broiler with you when it's at 120 and say, I want to pay 200 naira. Go and see. I've spent 33 years in this industry. I have a very good idea of what operates. I worked in CHI, I worked with Tunes, I worked with Obasanjo Farms. I have very fair idea of what operates. All my life has been spent in this industry. I owe it as a service to this industry. That's why I'm doing this. I'm supposed to have left. But it is a service to this industry to see the industry that has taken us from where we were to where we are today. And I know that the industry has a very bright future if we stop talking about what the challenges are and begin to look at what the solutions are. We look at the challenges in the light of the solution that we want to prefer to it, rather than looking at the challenges as what is militating us from going forward. Thank you very much. My Oga, you can round up.
Well, thank you. Maybe just for 1 minute, let us hear from Oyo Pan Chairman. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. This is a very good interactive section. I want to appreciate the organizer of this particular season. It has been so wonderful. But as we have been told and been charged and have been advised, I want us to please stop this blaming game. And precisely in our different locality and at the same our different zones and states, please, I want us to join PAN. So please, just make sure you join PAN. What we used to notice and observe is that when there is problem in the industry, people remember PAN. I wonder why they remember PAN. What are PAN people doing? What are this one doing? That has been the chorus. I used to be surprised. But when things are booming, when things are okay, they don't remember PAN. Even when you tell them to come to the meeting, they will not come. But please, I want us to encourage one another and even preach it as a gospel to the next person near to you, even a farmer, your neighbor, to please join pan. Some of them will say, what are they doing? Will they give us money? There is a lot of advantage. Please, that is just my advice. Thank you.
Finally, tomorrow we are going to also hold a small meeting together. So we are still going to call upon you, and we have a lot of presentation that will still happen. Like Dr. Akilolu said, share knowledge. We are also dealing with life, so we need a lot of information. This is a technology age now. We need technology to drive our businesses. So if you are doing very well in your farm and you share with the other farmer, it doesn't take that knowledge away. In fact, if you don't share that knowledge and there's a mistake in that farm, it's coming to your farm. So let us be our brother's keeper. Good night and safe journey to your different destination and hotel. Try and eat good food, good water, catch fun, visit nice places in Abeokuta. Good night.